Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man. So, got a chance to check out the press conference yesterday. Joshua versus Parker. All right, this pretty much went pretty much how I thought it would go. Now, I know over the last few days, Joshua, he was on some talk show, and the talk show host said this guy looks like the Pie King or eats pies or whatever, and then Joshua, agreed with them or was poking fun at him. And then Parker heard wind of it, and he kind of, on a quick shoot was like, oh, if I'm the Pie King, then he's a steroid king. And I'm not saying that Anthony Joshua's on steroids. I'm just saying what was said, all right? Now, I think it was just a quick shoot by Parker. I think he just quickly thought of something and just said it, all right? From my understanding, over the last few years, man, I've seen it all over, whether it's been in on YouTube videos and comment sections, or if it's been on different websites. You know how like the websites that have an article like on Boxing Scene, and then they'll have commenters that comment under the article. I've seen guys in those forums talk about it or say they think that he's on something. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying what I saw, what I've seen over the last few years. So for Parker to say that, it's not like this is just Parker saying this. I see a lot of fans. Shit, even Jarrell Miller was saying something about Parker possibly, or not Parker, but Joshua possibly being on something. You guys hear Jarrell Miller going off at the mouth about Anthony Joshua. All right, I'm not saying it's true. Let me make sure I throw that in there. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying I've heard this. So when Parker said it, it's like, oh, he's not the first person I heard say that. You know what I mean? Now, one thing that I noticed is Joshua did not like that shit at all. He didn't really like that, or he didn't like it. And another thing that I can see that Joshua doesn't like is when people bring up his chin. Because he went to like explaining stuff. Now, some of you may say, hey, that's a good thing. He explained every time he got hurt, right? He brought up the Klitschko fight. He brought up the times him going down and sparring. And then the fight against Dillian White when he was amateur. One thing he didn't bring up, and I kind of scratched my head, was the whole Daniel Dubois situation. I've heard Dubois say that he did drop him. Whatever, okay. It is what it is. But I was waiting for him to say something about that. So I'm still kind of curious as to what really happened in those sparring sessions. Now, I know it's sparring. It's sparring. Yes, I know it's sparring. I know it's sparring. But just the fact that I've heard Dubois say he dropped him. But anyways, I can tell that Josh does not like that shit at all, man. He was saying that it was they're trying to use this as a PR stunt, Parker and his team. Parker in his press conference, the dude is just so damn humble, and so he's not really going to talk shit, man. Like, especially face to face, he's just not going to do it. It's just how the dude is. And I've been saying this for years now, man. Even when they ask him, who do you want to fight? Guys, remember in those videos over the last year and a half, remember I was saying, you can ask Parker who he wants to, like, you can say, hey, Park, or Joseph Parker, do you want to fight Tony Bellew next? He's going to say, yeah. Now, some of us fans will say, hey, if he beat Joshua, the next fight he should want is Wilder. He should be calling out Wilder, Wilder, Wilder. Yeah, you're right. He should be. But just if you ask him anybody who wants to fight, he'll say, yeah, I'll fight that guy. Or yeah, I'll do this. Or it's just how Parker is, man. It's just from what I see of him, it's just how he is. If you ask him, who do you want, would you fight Povetkin next? He'll say, yeah. If you ask him, do you want to fight Wilder next? He'll say, yeah. He'll say yes to anybody. So just his personality, man, to me, he behaved the same way I've always seen him behave in every presser. He's very respectful, whether he's in there with somebody, whether it's a damn Dimitrenko or it's Anthony Joshua or it's Ruiz or it's Takam, or he has the same personality for the most part from my observation. So AJ, in my opinion, has more. Now, he comes across as very humble and things like that, but AJ has a nasty side to him. I think Parker does when he's in the ring, but AJ does at these pressers too. Like when Brazil was trying to get in his face, AJ kind of pushed him back, kind of checked him a little bit like, hey, man, you need to back the hell up. You know what I mean? When they were face-to-face outside. You guys remember that video. Obviously, what happened with the Dillian White. Now, Dillian White was just getting under his skin. You know what I mean? And then even him going back and forth in the media with Tyson Fury, AJ has more of an edge to him than Parker does. And it showed in his presser. right now I think it's a lot of mental games going on between the two, between Parker's team and Joshua's team. Eddie Hearn was trying to rile up. He was trying to rile up Higgins. You know, you tell him that, hey, AJ's right here. Say it to his face. And I'm sitting there thinking like, yeah, that's cool and all, but Higgins ain't gonna fight AJ. I mean, Higgins can cuss him out if he wanted to. He ain't got to get in the ring with him. You know what I mean? So it looked like Hearn was trying to pull rank on Higgins. Higgins, from just what I see him erupting sometime during the lead up of this. Maybe at the next presser that they have. I don't see him just being humble and sitting quietly. I see him erupting. I think he's going to erupt in one of these next pressers that they have leading up to this fight. But yeah, man, I mean, Parker, you know, even when they're asking him, I mean, he's humble sometimes to a fault, man. Even when they're asking him what he thinks is going to happen in the fight, he's saying the best man wins. I even heard him say in one of these interviews, somebody's getting knocked out, either him or me. But then he did say somebody's getting knocked out and it ain't going to be me. May the best man win. You know, things like that. Joshua's, his mindset is totally different. He, you know, now he's saying he has to go in there and take care of business. He didn't say that Joshua's going to be, Parker's going to be an easy fight. But you can tell his whole thing is just getting past or winning this fight and going on to the next thing. You know, I don't hear him saying, it's either going to be me or him or none of that. It's just he thinks he's going to win 110%. Just, you know, both guys are humble, just different personalities though, and it showed. Like I said, Joshua just has more of an edge on his personality. You know what I mean? Parker's just super duper humble, man. Like I said, sometimes from the outside looking in, sometimes it seems to a fault. Now, some of you may say, hey, the guy's undefeated. You know what I mean? So, but I just wish JP had a little bit more of an edge. I'm not saying he should be the king of shit talkers, right? I don't expect him to go up there and act like Jarrell Miller or Dillian White and Derek Chisora, or, you know, have the bravado like Deontay Wilder or talk like Tyson Fury. You know, he's going to be himself. But sometimes I think he's humble to a fault. And then he kind of he said he went too far with the steroid thing. He even apologized about that. So, you know, it is what it is, man. Joseph Parker's never really going to win press conference, you know, with the whole verbal thing. He's just not. So I don't really expect him to go in there and, you know, and lay down a smack talk. It's just not who he is. It's not who he is. But it did seem like Hearn and Joshua, those guys, are trying to sun Parker and Higgins. You know what I mean? Like, kind of set the record straight and tell them, you know, the business. That's just what it seemed like. You know what I mean? I thought Parker should have came back like, hey, man, I don't care who you got dropped against or when you got dropped. You didn't got to tell me all that. You've been dropped. You've been hurt. You know, try to just spice it up a little bit, but that's not Parker. You know, he's going to be humble, and that's what I took away from it, man. And it did seem like Joshua and Hearn, like I said, were trying to pull rank, trying to show who's boss just by their mannerisms and just looking at it, just watching it, just seemed like they were trying to pull rank, man. And, you know, let JP and Higgins know who's boss. But I think Parker will be ready. I know he's going to train hard. I know he's going to do what he has to do. But I'm going to keep my eye out for Higgins and Hearn, man. I think Higgins is going to have an outburst sooner or later. I can't wait till the fight happens, man. Can't really take too much away from pressers. I've seen some humble guys be very humble at press conferences, and the other guy was very boisterous, and the guy that was humble went in there and whooped the other guy's ass, right? One that I love bringing up is Holyfield and Tyson. Tyson, for the most part, didn't talk too much shit, but, you know, Holyfield was very humble. He was humble on all his damn pressers. Even the presser he had with Buster Douglas, when Douglas was saying that Holyfield has fought nothing but cakewalks and blah, blah, blah. And I remember Holyfield saying, well, hey, man, after I beat you, they're going to say that you're a cakewalk. You know what I mean? And he went in there and beat him, too. But it is what it is, man. You guys let me know in the comment section. What did you think about the press conference? Let me know in the comment section, man. I'm out.